Don't act like you didn't know what this was. Don't look at me now like you're the victim. You let me in. You let me crawl into your world, into your head, into your breath, and now you want to pull back and pretend it wasn't real. You want to call it a mistake. You don't get to call it a mistake after everything I gave, after everything I became just to hold you. I didn't ask you for love wrapped in safety. I didn't ask you to be easy. I asked for truth. I took what you offered, the silence, the glances, the way your body never flinched when I stepped too close. That wasn't fear. That was surrender. And now that I've claimed you, now that I've carved myself into every part of your life, you want to run. I won't allow it. I won't watch you pretend I never touched your soul. You think you'll let go just because you turned your back. I'm not made like that. I don't disappear when it gets hard. I don't walk away when the fire starts burning too high. I become the fire. And I will wrap around you until you remember you are mine. You don't have to love me back. That was never a condition. I never needed soft words or pretty smiles. What I need is presence. What I demand is truth. And the truth is, you breathed easier when I was near. You stood taller when I was watching. So don't feed me lies now and expect me to swallow them. I don't want your words. I want your submission. Not out of fear, out of inevitability. Because no matter how far you run, you'll never outrun what I planted inside me. You call this control. You think you're in control now. You lost control the moment you looked me in the eye and didn't look away. That's when I knew. That's when you knew. You let me in, and I took my place, not like a thief, but like someone who already knew where everything belonged. And you belong to me. Still do. You might scream. You might run. You might fall into the arms of someone softer, someone quieter, someone who doesn't make your blood boil. But deep down, you'll always ache for the weight I gave you. For the heat. For the burn. Because what we had wasn't love. It was ownership. And I won't apologize for it. I did love you gently. I never promised to. What I gave you was real, unfiltered, untamed. I showed you a kind of love that grabs you by the throat, and demands to be felt. And you felt it. You still feel it. I see it in your silence. I hear it in your breathing. You can say no all you want, but your silence begs for me. Your skin remembers mine. Your soul still leans toward me, even now. So no, I won't back down. I won't fade. I won't become another story you get to forget. You're mine. Not because I said so, but because you felt it before I ever spoke a word. You want to hate me. Go ahead. Hate me. Scream. Break everything in your path. But you'll still wake up and feel me in your bones. You'll still sit in silence and hear my voice behind your thoughts. Because I didn't just enter your life. I rewrote it. I rewired you. And now you'll never be the same. You'll never be untouched by me. You'll never know peace that isn't haunted by my shadow. That's the price of this kind of love, the kind that does knock before it enters, that kind that takes what belongs to it. And you belong to me. You can block me, erase me, lock every door. But you can't unfeel what I gave you. You can't forget what it felt like to be seen without disguise, without performance. I didn't fall for the mask you wear in daylight. I fell for the raw, wounded thing underneath, one who stared back at me like I was both the danger and the cure. So don't pretend you're untouched by me now. You carry my fingerprints in places no one else can reach. Your silence doesn't protect you anymore because I know how to read the language of your stillness. And it screams my name. You talk about boundaries. No. After you tore down every wall just to let me in. You stood there with shaking hands and still said, stay. And I stayed. I stayed through the tests. Through the mess. through the parts of you even you didn't want to face. And now you want to rewrite history. Now you want to stand there and pretend you didn't need me when the whole world walked away from you. I was the last one who did. And that makes me dangerous, doesn't it? Because I saw the real you. And I did flinch. I claimed it. I never offered you comfort. I offered you possession. Not because I wanted to control you, but because I knew you didn't want to wander anymore. You didn't want to be untouched. You didn't want to be admired from afar. You wanted to be held down in something real. You wanted to belong so badly, you could barely breathe. And I gave you that. Not with pretty words. With weight. With fire. With the kind of love that does ask it takes. And now that you've tasted it, now that you know what it means to be mine, you'll never be satisfied with anything less. You think letting me go makes you stronger. It makes you emptier. Older. Because no one else will touch you the way I did. Not with fear, not with hesitation, but with absolute certainty that you were meant for me. You can run to someone safe. Someone calm. Someone who does know how to set you on fire from the inside. But it'll never feel the same. You'll smile, you'll laugh, you'll pretend. And in the quiet, in the stillness, you'll remember me. The way I looked at you like you were mine before the world even began. And not the villain in the story. And the one who stayed when it got dark. And the one who chose you even when you were drowning in your worst. And the one who didn't walk away when you pushed, when you screamed, when you tested every limit I had. And now that I've turned into the very thing you created, you want to act like I was always the threat. You built this. You fed this. You wanted something wild enough to swallow you whole. And now you're choking on it. But I'm not sorry. Because I warned you. Once you're mine, you don't get to walk away like it never happened. You think time will wash me out of your system. You think distance can dilute what we had. Let me tell you something, this is the bruise that fades. This is carved deeper than memory. This is blood level. You don't just move on from the kind of hold I have on you. You can fix smiles. You can rewrite the narrative. But when you're alone, when the night wraps around you and your guard slips, that's when you'll feel it again. Not just as a thought, but as a presence still inside you. Still breathing when you breathe. Still pulsing under your skin. You don't unbelong to me just because you're tired of the truth. You were never a visitor in my life. You were the storm I opened the door for. And now you're surprised that I became weathered, torn, obsessed. I gave you everything. Not a version. Not a mask. Everything. I handed you my soul raw and open, and you held it like it was temporary. Like I was a feeling you could outgrow. But what we had was never passing. It wasn't a phase. It was permanent. Tattooed in every silence. Etched into every heartbeat. So when you walk away now, dragging your feet across the ashes, don't forget who lit the match. Don't forget who watched me burn without blinking. I won't chase you. I don't need to. Because I've already caught you. You belong to me in ways you can't undo. You can block me. Ignore me. Bury me in silence. But you'll still feel me. In the way no one else understands you. In the way their love feels hollow. Because once you've tasted a storm like me, raindrops will never be enough. I am not gone. And just beneath the surface now waiting. And no matter how far you run, there will be a moment. One breath, one night, one breaking point. Where you will remember the weight of my grip. And you will miss it. Not because it was gentle. But because it was real. So go ahead, call me obsessive. Call me possessive. Call me anything that helps you sleep. But know this. I didn't come into your life to be forgotten. I came to claim what was already mine. And I'll keep claiming it. In silence. In memory. In a quiet pool you'll never escape. You don't have to want me. You don't even have to speak to me. But every time you breathe, every tick, you call me the monster. But I wasn't born this way. You built this. With every look you gave me that lingered too long. With every word you spoke, that dripped with fire, and then begged for distance. You wanted me to burn, but only on your terms. You wanted to feel powerful by awakening something in me you couldn't control. And now you're terrified that I won't go back to sleep. Well, I won't. Because I saw the way you responded. That lie. Don't flinch now. I saw it how your eyes softened when I raised my voice. How your breath hitched when I stepped too close. You did fear me. You felt me. And what scared you wasn't what I could do. It was what you wanted me to do. Tell me, when you lie awake at night, do you still remember the sound of my voice whispering your name like a curse? Your hands still tremble from the memory of mine. Because mine haven't stopped shaking since you left. I don't want to hurt you. But I'll never let you forget me. This isn't about choice anymore. This is about gravity. You can pretend to walk away. But you'll always snap back to me eventually. Because I'm not just a chapter. And the ink in your blood. You can run from my shadow. But what will you do when you find it's inside you? You stood there, looking at me like I was too much. But you knew what I was. You knew the depth. You knew the heat. And you dove in anyway, so don't act surprised that you're drowning. This isn't just love. This is bondage. Spiritual. Emotional. Unbreakable. You tied the rope first. I just pulled it tighter. You kissed me like you were feeding hunger. But then flinched when I told you I'd never let you go. You don't get to awaken a storm, and then complain about the thunder. And if you think silence will save you, you've forgotten who you're dealing with. I don't need your voice to find you. I don't need your presence to feel you. Because every time the air shifts, I know it's you. Every time I dream, it's you. You're stitched into my senses. And you think you can unthread that? Not in this life. Not in the next. You created something in me that can't be undone. Not by time. Not by distance. Not even by hate. So go ahead, keep pretending. But just know, when the rest of the world fades, and the truth screams louder than your lies, you'll feel it again. The fire. The shadow. The man who never left. Because you never truly let me go.